I'm Tessa Miller. I grew up in a broken home with my mom. My dad went to prison when I was young, and I had to watch my mom go through a lot of the struggles of addiction as well. A lot of men were brought into our life, and I was always trying to find that father figure, and a lot of that turned into being groomed and not feeling very safe in my life. So as I got older, I started to really resent God. I was so angry with him for not saving me in those moments. I got with Doug, my husband, and he's been a believer his whole life. So when I got with him, that was a pretty big conversation for us, pretty tough. So he was like, I'll wait for you and we'll get you there. The second time I showed up at Net Church, I truly believe I was touched by an angel. So this sweet little boy by the name of John came up to me, and I was feeling very uncomfortable and felt like I didn't belong. And he came up to me and just held on to me. And there was just this moment of, oh my gosh, like God is real. Like I felt that in that moment. Me and Doug drove home from church that day, and I cried the whole way to breakfast, and I had this insane feeling in my heart that I've been getting signs for quite a few years from God. So this was the first time where I actually felt it instead of saw it. I met with Ailey in her office, and we talked for about 2 hours, and I told her my whole story, and we cried together. And I don't really know how I don't have a reason on how it happened. She looked at me and said, I think you're ready. And I was like, I think I am too. And so I gave my life to Christ in that moment. And it was just an immediate takeover for me. A big one for me has been my patience and forgiveness. So that all kind of leads back to my mom. I resented her for a lot of things that were out of her control. And when God was starting to make his way back into my life, I sat down and I sent her a really long message. We hadn't talked in about 2 years, and I told her, I forgive you. I love you, and I want you in my life, and we need each other, and all of the things that were out of your control that I blamed you for, I'm sorry. And that was a big step for me, because for about 3 years we were no contact. I didn't want her in my life. So I think forgiveness and a little bit more understanding have been a really big part of my journey so far. I want everyone in my life to know that I'm a better person now, and I know that they can be too. So I've never been baptized before. And actually, there's a funny story. When I was a kid, all of my siblings had been baptized, and I always felt like the oddball out. My mom when it was that point, her life was really tough, and it just never came up for me. So I feel like this is kind of healing a little bit of my inner child for me, because I always wanted that when I was a kid, before I went through all of those things and felt that resentment. So I think for me, it's like I'm finally where my inner child wanted to be. I'm finally accepting what in my whole adult life has been thrown at me. I'm finally bringing it all in and letting it happen.